Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Everyday English. I'm Alex and I'm here with the amazing Emily.
Cheerful and friendly hi, listeners. Today, we're talking about those simple, everyday questions in English that can sometimes be surprisingly tricky. Like, when someone asks, "How was your day?" Or "What do you usually do every day?" Those little questions that can pop up anytime.
Right, Emily. And even though they sound basic, knowing how to answer makes conversations way smoother. Plus, it's a great way to start sounding natural and confident in English.
Exactly. Let's imagine this. It's the end of the day, and a friend asks, "How was your day?" How would you answer? We're going to give you some phrases and tips so you can answer like a pro. But first, let's start with a question.
All right, let's dive into our first question. How was your day? Emily, what's a good way to answer that?
Great question, Alex. So, if someone asks you, "How was your day?" it's usually okay to keep it simple. You could say something like, "It was good, thanks." This is polite and friendly.
Yeah, that's a nice way to keep things short but positive. But if you want to share a bit more, you could add some detail. For example, "It was pretty busy, but I got a lot done." That way, you're giving them a little insight into your day.
Yes. And if you had a relaxing day, you might say something like, "It was nice and relaxing, just what I needed." This tells the person a little bit more about how you're feeling, and it helps the conversation flow.
Exactly, and here's something interesting for our listeners. In English-speaking cultures, it's common to answer this question even if you had a rough day. You might say something like, "It was okay, just a bit tiring." That way, you're being honest but keeping it light.
Right. And sometimes, people answer with a positive twist, even if the day wasn't great. You might say, "It had its ups and downs, but I'm glad it's over." That way, you're still showing a bit of positivity, which is common in English conversations.
Listeners, why don't you try it? Think about how you would answer if someone asked, "How was your day?" Would you keep it short or add some detail?
Let's move to another common question. What do you usually do every day? This one's great for talking about your routine. So, Alex, how would you answer?
Good one. I'd say something like, "I usually start my day with coffee. Then I work or study until lunch. In the evening, I like to relax or hang out with friends." Notice that I used the word usually to talk about habits.
Great point. Using words like usually, often, or sometimes can make your answer sound natural. And show that these things happen regularly, not just once.
Yes. And another phrase you could use is most days, I. For example, most days, I go to work in the morning, then I take a walk after lunch. It's just a friendly way to talk about your daily life.
And if you're talking about something you enjoy doing every day, you can add a positive phrase. For example, "I love starting my day with a workout. It really energizes me." This shows you're passionate about that part of your routine.
Exactly. And here's something else, when people ask about your daily routine, they are often just making conversation, so you don't need to go into too much detail. A simple answer works fine.
Yes, in English-speaking cultures, small talk is very common, and people may ask questions just to be friendly. You can answer casually and don't have to explain every single thing you do in a day.
All right, listeners, here's your chance to practice. Think about what you'd say if someone asked, "What do you usually do every day?" Try to include words like usually, often, or most days to sound natural.
Okay, let's do it. What did you do today?
Not much, just worked on some projects and then went for a walk. This phrase is perfect for casual conversation.
How was work/school?
It was good. A little busy, but I got a lot done. In English-speaking cultures, how was work? Is a common way to show interest.
What's the best part of your day?
Probably having lunch with a friend. It was a nice break. Listeners, what's usually the best part of your day?
Very well.
All right, let's give our listeners a pro tip when answering these questions. Keep it simple and don't worry if it's short.
And don't feel pressured to give long answers. Simple phrases like not much, just relaxing. Or it was okay work great. Practicing these makes speaking feel natural.
We encourage you to think of your own answers to these questions. Imagine a friend asked you, "What did you do today?" How would you answer?
Yes. And remember, practicing these phrases out loud, even with yourself, really helps. Repeat after us, "It was great." Or just a typical day.
That's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on Everyday English, and remember, practice makes perfect. Soon, answering these questions will feel easy.
Absolutely. See you next time, everyone, and don't forget to think about your answers when someone asks, "How was your day?" Bye.